Okay, so this is your Secret Life of Walter Mitty post-lecture. I want to point out a couple things. Number one, the PDF guys that you have, there are a few questions at the very end, just because this is a pretty well-used short story for short story units everywhere, but don't answer those questions. Those are from an educational, excuse me, part of an educational unit, but I just need you to read it. You don't have to answer those questions. Number one, let's talk about Walter Mitty. Very, very full of fantasies and full of a want of adventure. Just to kind of show you what I was doing. Anyway, sorry. Full of the need for something more, whatever that may be. You know, driving his wife around, taking her to get her hair done in a very kind of 1950s way, doing things like, daydreaming that he's a submarine captain, daydreaming that he's he may be a surgeon and a lawyer and attorney and all those sorts of things, and something more exciting than going to the shoe repairman or getting your hair cut or doing this, that, and the other. But anyway, there's all of this pent up, I don't know if I'd say depression or maybe boredom and some melancholy, definitely. But really it has to do with this idea that he is so in his own head that there's not a whole lot of room for reality. The last line is one of my absolute favorite. Walter Mitty standing defiantly in front of the firing squad once again in his fantasy, and he's there, and it's a very James Dean moment, even though it was written well before Rebel Without a Cause or anything like that. And so he takes his last drag and a cigarette, throws it, and turns around, and he faces the firing squad. And there he is, defiant and inscrutable to the last. Whenever we daydream, we don't often daydream that we're the mild-mannered reporter. We often daydream that we are Superman. We don't often think of ourselves in these daydreams as Clark Kent. We think of ourselves, as Superman, in fact. But Walter Mitty is no exception for this. Even this fictitious character. A lot of times we write in terms of wish fulfillment. A lot of times we write in terms of wanting more and things that we wish we could be, things that we want to be. But here we have a character who's living through that exact same experience. He wants to be something else. He needs to be something else. He's interested in being something else. But it's still that kind of mundane is getting to him in that regard. But I mean that ending, man. I mean, there's that that kind of final moment of defiance, of rebellion, of taking your fate to your own hands. It's like, okay, my captain, I'm the master of my fate, all that kind of stuff. And there he is living an ordinary life, where his fantasy life, his daydreaming life is so potent. That it takes up a lot of his time, and I've never, even the first time I read it, that ending. I mean, it's stuck with me. Turning around, defiant and and inscrutable to the last. It was just so well done. I mean, they made 2 movies out of it. There's one I think in I don't know, it was either 1947 or 1952 with Danny Kaye called The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and it was even further off than the Ben Stiller version. In fact, James Thurber, the author, hated, whenever he was alive, the Danny Kaye version because it would just, but I mean, really, whenever you think about it, just from a practicality point of view, how do you make a 2-hour movie or even an hour-and-a-half movie out of a 3-page short story? You got to add something. I mean, you got to add a lot of something. But that's neither here nor there. They're still all great different interpretations but with the heart of things still very much there. That melancholy of the mundane, the boredom of the everyman, I guess you could say. it's just a heck of a line, you know. In his daydreams, he's turning around to be defiant. He's turning around to be more. He's turning around to face the firing squad, to face, the equivalent of the reality of that. But he's doing so with defiance and rebellion and attitude and all that kind of stuff. And so it really is just a wonderful short story. And I hope that you agree, that you enjoyed it. I really hope that you paid attention to it, and that by this point you're seeing that a memorable ending does not need to be one of, how can I say this, of like, explosions and massive twist endings and cliche storylines that we've seen in multiple things, and it's like, we traced the call, it's coming from inside the house, all those kind of stuff. Just, it doesn't it can be that. There's no problem with that. There really isn't, guys. But it doesn't have to be. In fact, almost to enhance your art, to enhance your story, it's, Hemingway, what they say was the master of subtlety. And a lot of people, and there are many other masters, subtlety in that regard. But you don't have to go big or go home. Sometimes the most impactful things are the smallest things. And this deals with reality too. Some of the most beautiful things is like the smallest act of kindness that we do to someone else. Picking up a piece of trash that someone dropped. And watching kids be kind to each other after another child was mean to someone else. It's along those same things. Those things are connected. Some of the most impactful things we see are the smallest things we see. And it goes the same thing with art. It goes the same thing with literature. Sometimes less is more. It really is, and so hopefully you see that. This is our last, I guess you could say, literature unit 3. Unit 4 is all about writing, guys. So be prepared for that. Kind of wrapping things up for this unit as far as the videos, things. There will be I haven't really decided yet if I want to do another music discussion. I think I will. To be honest, because I kind of like a lot of stuff that's going on there. Hopefully kind of opening you guys up to some more stuff. But yeah, I take that back. We're going to do one more and kind of pair that with our literature, because like I said, Unit 4 is all writing. I was thinking about doing one more with the writing one, but it just fits better with the memorable ending. So be on the lookout for that. And so what you have now, after you finish this, you need to do the quiz, you need to do the blog. You need to click on the music, whatever one I decide at the time. I've got like 3 different things going on right now as far as that could be paired with memorable endings, and I will pick one. So you've got that, and then you've got the Unit 3 discussion, and that's our 3rd unit. And then our 4th unit is going to be pretty fast and furious as far as content. We've got basically, it's going to be, a video talking about combining all these elements together, discussing the rubric, doing a rough draft, going through a revision process to turn your final copy, and that's our course, man. Like, that's it, and we are done. And so hopefully, guys, I've really enjoyed the course. I've really enjoyed a lot of your guys' work. The quizzes just kind of prove, that you're paying attention, that you've got an opinion about the stuff. The discussions are some of my favorite stuff. It really is. I like to see you guys disagree, because something that talk about that the music discussion, the very first one, the Black River Killer. One. Some of you guys took a very interesting slant to it that I hadn't seen before. Some of you guys said that that there's this religious aspect to it, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but that's one of the things about one of the most wonderful things about music and literature is that we can disagree. And it's literary theory. It is a theory, until the author says this is what it means. That's essentially what it means. Like, for instance, as far as songs go, James Maynard Keenan, I can't recall. The head singer, Tool, A Perfect Circle, never reveals what his lyrics are actually about, because you can apply it to different things. And so, like, never does, because people, and I guess his idea is however you interpret it to be, that's what it is. And he's one of many artists that feel that way. And so, it's one of those things where just because you think you're right doesn't mean someone else is wrong, if that makes sense. So I like to see you guys disagree, because so far from what I've seen, you guys have disagreed in a pretty civil way, and I really appreciate that. Now, since the last time I've looked at that because I film all these in advance before I get through the grading of the prior unit, if that makes sense, because I like for it all to kind of come in at once if possible, and then put that in there. So ideally, those will all be updated with all the Unit 2 stuff now that we're getting into Unit 3, and I'm really looking forward to seeing some more of that. Okay, all right, guys, good work. Like I said, after this, you've got your quiz, you've got your blog, you've got your music discussion, then you've got your unit discussion, and then we're done with Unit 3. And then we only have one more unit after that. All right, guys, great work so far. I'm really proud of you guys for sticking in there and sticking with it and creating the stuff that you have. And I'm really, really excited to see what you guys come up with your short stories. So until next time, I will see you later.